Hey everyone, welcome back to the Friday Parts channel. I'm Caleb.
I'm Tristan.
And today we're going to go over how to replace and maintain your tractor's water pump. Overheating is one of the fastest ways to destroy your tractor's engine, and the water pump is at the center of your cooling system.
Here's how it works. The water pump circulates the coolant through the engine, where the coolant absorbs the heat from the engine and circulates it through the radiator to cool it, where airflow cools the coolant and circulates it back through the engine. Without a properly functioning water pump, your engine can overheat and cause serious damage.
When doing maintenance to a cooling system, always check the coolant level whenever the engine is completely cold. You should never open a hot coolant system pressure cap. Hot coolant is under major pressure and can cause serious burns. Check the level in the overflow tank or in the radiator and make sure it meets the manufacturer's specifications. Before we start, you'll want to inspect your coolant lines and your water pump for any signs of leakage.
So on this one, we have your upper radiator hose, which is fine, your lower radiator hose, and you have a bypass hose here. And on your water pump, you have a weep hole that this is the new water pump, but if the old one was leaking out of that weep hole there, that's a sign that your seal is bad inside and time to replace the water pump. So in this case, our water pump has a little bit of a leak there, and the front seal up top has also got a leak in it. On the hoses, another thing to check for is residue coming through the hose or dry rotted hoses that are cracked or brittle. These are still flexible. Make sure your hose clamps are tight on all of them. That ensures you're not leaking anywhere. So if you're still not sure if your water pump's failing or not, other than what we did was look for coolant coming out of the weep hole, you'll also have play. If you're moving your fan, you'll have play back and forth, which is a sign that that bearing's going out. You'll also be able to hear grinding or squealing if that bearing's going out as well. Also, sometimes when these get old, the impeller's pressed into the pin here. So when it gets hot, the impeller's actually expanding from the heat, but the pin is not. So even though it's turning, your impeller's not turning. So that will cause it to overheat as well. On newer vehicles, the impeller's actually a stamped steel, not die cast. And what'll happen are those fins will rust out. And so when it's turning, it's not moving any water because the fins have disappeared. So that will overheat as well. If you see or hear any of these signs, make sure to check your water pump and replace it immediately.
Now that we've gone over how to check for leakage, let's go over how to replace a water pump. Step 1, make sure your tractor is parked on a level surface, turn it off, and make sure your parking brake is engaged. Check to see that the engine is completely cold.
Step 2 is draining the coolant from the radiator. So here we have what's called a Petcock that you open up to let the fluid come out, and our drain pan is actually a bucket. The more you open it, the more it flows. A quick tip, make sure your radiator cap is off and it'll flow quicker. It might take some time, but making sure your system drains fully is key. Otherwise, when you remove your water pump, you'll have a mess.
After draining, you want to check your coolant. Make sure it's the proper color to your manufacturer's specifications. If it's discolored, this could indicate another issue. You also want to make sure that it's clean of debris. Ours has a little bit in there, but the coolant filter in our system will take it out. If your coolant's old and you can't reuse it, make sure to dispose of your old coolant properly.
So step 3, now you're going to start removing components so you can get to your water pump. This might include the fan shroud. Definitely remove the fan if it's attached to the water pump. You'll have to remove your belt, which is attached to the alternator on this one, and take some pictures in case you forget how everything went. So when you remove the belt, look for glazing, dry rod cracking, any signs that the belt's worn, and now's your time to replace the belt while you have everything off. This is your water pump now. Now we got to take that out. You can see that this has leaked and there's a little corrosion on there.
Once you have everything removed out of the way, Now you can remove the bolts on your water pump that hold it to the engine block. Keep track of the location and the size of the bolts so that you know where they go once you put them back on. Once you have all the bolts removed, the water pump should be free. You might have to tap or pry on the water pump to get it off of the block. Whenever you do this, be careful to not damage your engine block. It's incredibly important that you clean off the mounting surface on the engine block after you remove the old water pump. Make sure you use a gasket scraper to remove all traces of the old gasket or sealant, and avoid putting any deep gouges in the metal that could mess up your mating surface. Follow up with a fine wire brush or any other non-abrasive conditioning pad. To make sure the surface is perfectly clean, be careful to not let any debris in the coolant passages within your block. And then finally, you want to wipe down the surface with a clean rag, brake clean, or some kind of solvent, and then alcohol to remove any grease on the surface. Make sure to avoid any contact with rubber whenever you're using a harsh chemical. And you'll want to check one last time to make sure that everything is clean, dry, and perfectly smooth for your new seal. After you've cleaned off your engine block, it's now time to prepare your replacement water pump. If it includes a gasket, install it according to the instructions. Some applications may require a liquid sealant. Make sure to apply it to the surface evenly. Carefully position the new water pump onto the engine block. Insert the mounting bolts and thread them on by hand first to make sure you don't cross thread them. Tighten them gradually and evenly in a crisscross or star pattern. Make sure the pump sits flush without warping, and refer to your owner's manual for specific torque specifications. After you've installed the new water pump, reinstall the fan or the fan shroud and the serpentine belt if you needed to remove them, and adjust your belt tension to the manufacturer's specifications. Refill your coolant system with the right type of coolant and mixture for your tractor. Slowly fill it to release any trapped air. And refill your radiator or coolant tank to the proper level. And make sure to check your manual for any specific bleeding instructions. Before starting your engine, make sure your new water pump is flush mounted to the surface of your block. And make a visual check around your hoses and connections for any signs of leaks. If you don't have any leaks, you can start it and run the tractor, but keep an eye on your temperature gauge to make sure that it's rising up slowly and not shooting up quickly. After your engine reaches operating temperature, recheck all your connections for any leaks and your water pump as well. You might notice that your coolant level drops back down after you run the tractor. That's because the air is getting circulated out of the system. Make sure to check your coolant again after it cools down and add any if necessary.
And that's everything you need to know about replacing a water pump.
Don't let your water pump fail. Catch the early signs. If this video helped you at all, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel, and drop any questions that you have down below in the comments.
Fix it once
and fix it right. We'll see you next time on Friday Parts, where we keep your machines running strong and smart.